That's a clown question, bro.
Hi, what's up on you?
So I'm gonna kick some dirt.
He gets on base.
Just a bit outside.
I'm not the type of player that's going to be Johnny Hustle.
If you don't want me to watch the ball, you can go get it out of the ocean.
And welcome to the show to be named later, where we're talking baseball kind of whenever. I am your host, Chris Gianta. Over to my right, my actual right, is Daniel Curran. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, this is weird. This isn't what I got to get used to this again, being in the same room.
Yeah.
I'm doing good, though. We had arguably the best game of the year last night. It was a great game to be a stat nerd. So many nuggets, so many historic, feats that we haven't seen before. We had a scoreagami for the first time in our lifetime, Chris. Do you know what that is?
Yes. So a scoreagami for the audience is a score that has never happened in baseball history. So now This is our 151st year, and we got a score that we have never seen before.
And this term was coined by John Boyce of Secret Base. He did an NFL scoreagami video in MLB. I believe it was Jeremy Frank, shout out at MLB Random Stats on Twitter, presented the baseball scoreagami. And we had a unique score. The last scoreagami we got was in 1999.
Yeah.
So neither of us were alive.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Miami Marlins last night, what a night for their offense, huh?
Historic.
Yeah.
Historic night for their offense. 9 runs at SunTrust Park.
Truist Park.
Truist Park. Truist Park now.
Yeah.
And they had never had that many at Truist.
It was tied. So the Miami Marlins last night, they went into SunTrust/Truist Park, a park that they have not done too particularly well in since it opened in 2017, and they went out there and they tied their personal record for most runs scored in that ballpark.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, like the Marlins, when they kind of started coming out of the gates, we were like, we don't know about this team, but right now they're in a playoff spot. They're making history. I mean, this team might be for real.
Yeah, and you know what? The other time that they scored 9 runs in that ballpark, it was in 2018, and it was actually a game where they had, I believe, a 9-4 lead in the bottom of the ninth, and they blew it. So, you have this gut-wrenching loss.
Yeah.
So, at least, this time, you score 9 runs, you're not going to have this. And the way it turned out, they didn't have this gut-wrenching, heartbreaking loss in the 9th inning.
Yeah, they had a good pitcher going. One of my, how about that, Pablo Lopez going out there. You had
Jordan Yamamoto. Yep.
Excellent last year. You have him coming out of the pen. It's like a super bullpen coming out there for the Miami Marlins.
It was just an incredible showing. 9 runs. What more could you ask for?
What more?
You gave all the runs. You gave all your pitchers, those pitchers are going to come out there and perform. You gave them all the runs you could possibly want against the Atlanta Braves. Really good team.
Yeah.
So good, in fact, they scored 29 runs last night.
29 runs for the Atlanta Braves, a National League record.
That's right. So they were the first National League team ever to score 29 runs in one game. They were the 4th team overall. The other teams to do it were the Texas Rangers, of course, the 30-3 game, the Boston Red Sox, and the Chicago White Sox. Those are the other teams to ever score 29 runs in one game, at least 29. The Braves are the first National League team to do it. Also for the Marlins, Jazz Chisholm, their top prospect, he hit his first big league home run that game.
Yeah.
And he hit a triple too.
Yeah,
he was on cycle watch.
A fantastic offensive performance from a Marlin there.
From a Marlin.
Yeah.
So the Braves, the Marlins actually hung a 0 in the first inning, and they got up to a 2-0 lead in the second inning. And amazingly enough, so the Braves scored 11 runs in the second inning. Almost all of them came with 2 outs. It was the second run, or the second out, was a sac fly to tie the game.
So it was 2-2.
It was 2-2 with 2 outs, men on the corners, and they proceeded to score 11 runs in the inning and go up 11-2.
Yeah, how about that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna run through the box score because it was quite a scene. By the way, I looked back at all the other historic blowout games in history. Obviously, I looked at the classic Rangers-Orioles 10-3 game, 30-3 game on August 22nd, 2007. The Rangers only scored in 4 different innings that game, which is pretty crazy. There was, I believe, an 11-run inning, a 9-run inning, a 4-run inning, and a 6-run inning, and then the rest were zeros. So I'm going to go through the Braves inning by inning box score real quick. Just for note, this game was so ridiculous, man. They had 23 hits. The Marlins had 2 errors, so they didn't help themselves out. By the way, Bryce Wilson, pitcher from the Braves, he got his first career save in this game.
I have no idea how that was even possible. I think
he pitched 4 innings. If you pitch the last 3 innings of a game, no matter what the score is, it's a save.
Oh,
yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yep. I learned that in 2017. The Red Sox beat the Blue Jays like 16 to. It was some blowout loss, and I think it was. I forget who it was, but someone got a save that game because they pitched 3 innings. That's how I learned it. Anyway, so the Braves scored 11 runs in the second, 2 runs in the third, 3 runs in the fourth, 6 runs in the fifth, 3 runs in the sixth, 4 runs in the seventh, and then put up a 0 in the 8th. I was hoping that they would catch the all-time record and score 31, but hey, National League record's cool too.
Yeah, it was edge on your seat stuff.
Yeah.
I was personally, I didn't even tune in till I wasn't tuning in that hard. I didn't tune in until it was 25-9.
Yeah.
I was just trying to catch a historic moment, like kind of like the last 3 outs of the no hitter.
Yeah.
I was watching. Trevor Bauer was still on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
I had that on, but I mean, it was like when the Braves were up, it was edge of your seat material going on there.
So Freddie Freeman had 3 hits on 6 RBI. He hit a home run, and the home run he hit was his 1,500th career hit.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
So that was very cool. Travis d'Arnaud hit a home run. He was 2 for 7.
Oh, not a great day.
Yeah, I think his batting average went down.
I think the Braves weighted runs created plus.
Oh, I have that number.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, not for that game individually, but for how much it went up over the course of one day. Dansby Swanson had 5 runs scored and only 4 at-bats. It's pretty cool. He only had 1 walk. He had 3 hits, 1 walk, and I'm assuming he reached on an error. Austin Riley went 2 for 4 with 2 walks. Ozzie Albies went 3 for 6 he did not have a walk. Never mind. The Braves as a team, by the way, they had 9 walks. That is a lot for an 8-inning game on offense.
Yeah.
And the 2 particular players of the game, Ronald Acuna Jr. went 3 for 4. He had 4 at-bats, 3 walks, a home run, a 3-run double. And he became the 6th player ever to have 3 walks, 3 hits, and 5 RBIs in one game.
How about that? I should bring up the.
There's a whole. I have a lot of how about that's.
All right.
For this game in particular. Ronald Acuna Jr. Like I said, he became the 6th player ever to have 3 walks, 3 hits, and 5 RBIs in one game. So that was an incredible performance from him. And, he had like I mentioned, he had a 3-run double to make it 25 to, I think it was 8 at that point. Yeah, it was 25 to 8. He also had a home run to make it 22 to 8. Every time, he was on fire. And he led off the 8th inning and almost got one. He flew out to the warning track on the first pitch. That would have tied the record.
Yeah,
he just missed it.
He did. It was, I remember seeing that swing, and he was like, almost got it.
Yeah. But the player of the game for the Braves, undoubtedly, of course, was Tommy Malone, their starting pitcher. This guy, 3 1/3 innings, 8 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He was able to keep him in the game.
Yeah.
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 Just an incredible performance from him. To go out there and give your team a chance to win.
Yeah, we're looking at. There's another guy in the National League East who can't get his team to win games.
Yeah. And for some reason, he's won the last 2 Cy Youngs and very well could win it again this year.
And you got Tommy Malone out there, winning games for his team, and no one's talking about it.
No one's talking about it.
Yeah.
You don't need to go 5. You need to go 5 innings to get the win, but you don't need to get the win to give your team a chance to win.
Yeah,
and that's what Tommy Malone goes out and does.
It's a new game. pitchers are not expected to go as long.
Yeah.
But as long as you win the game, I mean,
That's
you
right.
can't complain.
No. The player of the game was Adam Duvall. This guy was absolutely incredible. He went 3 for 4 with 9 RBIs. 9 RBIs ties the Braves franchise record for a single game. That's right. He tied one other dude who did it in the 60s. So I'm assuming it's an Atlanta Braves record because they would have been in Milwaukee at that point. I think it was in 1960.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is an Atlanta Braves record. He had 3 home runs, a 2-run home run, a 3-run home run, and a grand slam. He came a solo home run away from the home run cycle. That has never happened before. So that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
So I have a couple notes on him. So first of all, as I mentioned already, he tied the Braves franchise record for RBIs in one game with 9. But this one, or there's 2 more actually. So this was actually his second 3-home run game of this week. He had one against the Red Sox last Wednesday. And he became the 5th player in Major League history to have 2 3-home run games in the team's first 50 games of a season. How about that? Did you see, I tweeted the other people who did it. Did you catch that at all?
Who were they?
Willie Stargell, Mark McGwire, Carlos Delgado, and Mookie Betts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pretty good company there.
All guys who were known for their offensive prowess.
And only one of them, as of now, is a Hall of Famer. Another one will be.
Yeah.
But McGwire is not, and Delgado is not. And Adam Duvall just joined that list. But anyway, Adam Duvall. First of all, on top of all the home runs, he also had 2 walks in the game, which is really impressive. And he became the first player in Major League history, dating all the way back to 1901, to have 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, and 2 walks in a single game. How about that? Adam Duvall.
Yeah, Adam Duvall. That's incredible. Incredible to hear.
Mm-hmm.
An absolutely historic day in Atlanta for both teams. 29 to 9.
Yeah, 29 to 9. The Braves obviously played for their Pythagorean win-loss. Their standard run scoring system on Baseball Reference is now 1.1. I'm not sure exactly where it was yesterday, but I'm very well guessing it went up. So I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on this game?
No, I think you broke it down to quite down to the bone.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Braves reminding everyone what they can do. I mean, we joke about Tommy Malone, but like on any other night he was terrible.
Yeah,
like 3 1/3, 8 earned runs. That's gonna lose you the game 95 times out of 100. And the only times he wins is when they score 29 runs.
Yeah, in a lot of games, 3 1/3, 8 earned runs, like a position player will eventually come in.
Yeah.
For your team.
Yep.
Because you're down like 11 to nothing.
Yeah. And I mean, that wasn't even one of their guys. Like they had, apart from that offense, they still have, Max Fried, who's in the Cy Young conversation. Soroka is out and Fulton-Evans. Their pitching staff is somewhat dismantled, but they've been able to hold their own for what it's worth. My guy, Ian Anderson, has been shutting it down, 2.40 ERA over his first 3 starts. So that's really good.
And I think Cole Hamels
he pitched a sim game yesterday.
Yeah, I think he might be coming in
the
just
last
in
couple
time
days.
for the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, whatever he's got left in the tank, he can pull through for a good postseason run.
Yeah, you definitely want a guy who's there, especially when, you lost Keuchel last year, who had postseason experience. Soroka gained postseason experience last year, and you don't have him this year. And yeah, I think, Braves are very interesting. I mean, they've still been able to do everything they've been able to do, stay in first place, despite, a lot of injuries. Max Fried actually just went on the IL as well. So, if you're a Braves fan, you're definitely hoping for him to come back quickly. But
yeah.
You've lost Soroka for the year. You lost Acuna and Albies for a little bit. You haven't had Hamels, and you haven't really had Fulton-Evans. And they're still at the top, and they're making history. And I mean, that's a fun team. And even with injuries, it makes you think that this is a team that's
Worth paying attention
due
to.
for long-term success as well.
Yes. So now, do you want to get into the NL postseason picture?
Yeah, I guess that's a good segue.
Yeah, because the Braves, we're going to be talking about them again real soon. Because guess what? They've had other really good nights outside of just last night.
Yes. So first of all, last episode we kind of broke down the American League playoff picture because we're somewhat in a lull. There haven't been that many changes standings wise in the past week or so. It's a lot of fighting for like the 8th seed and stuff. It's been some slight moving around, but not really much. So we're kind of just seeing where teams are at, where we think they're gonna go in the postseason. Because there's definitely some teams who are at the top right now that might not go very far, and there's probably some teams that are fighting for an 8th seed that might be going further. Like maybe the Yankees.
Yes.
Might be a threat even as a 7 or 8 seed coming out of the American League. So today we're doing the National League, and we're starting with the best team in baseball this year, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a staple. Every year it's like the Dodgers, they're on top. They are, what are they right now? Like 32-12? Yeah, they have a .727 winning percentage. They are miles ahead of the Braves for the number 2 or for the number 1 seed, should I say. And with this team, you got to start thinking, when is enough enough? Like, when are they finally going to do it? And this year, they have Mookie Betts to go along with Cody Bellinger, to go along with Justin Turner, who's a pending free agent, to go along with Corey Seager, to go along with everyone else in that lineup who's been producing year in and year out. And you talk about, the elephant in the room, Clayton Kershaw. He's actually still doing really well, despite people talking about how his prime is over. So, I'm just getting into this team. Mookie Betts has been the best player on this team, unsurprisingly. A .307 average with a .994 OPS, 164 OPS plus. He's also playing really good defense. He has 14 home runs, 33 RBIs.
A solid MVP candidate.
Yeah, this is a guy you want on your team for his entire career.
Yeah, definitely. The Dodgers definitely made the right move in locking him up.
Yeah,
because
No, how could you ever look at that guy and be like, nah, I think we should not lock him up?
Yeah.
If you're, maybe if you're a small market team like, I don't know, the Red Sox or something like that, maybe you squeeze a World Series out of him and then you let him go on his way. But even then, you should really consider it.
Yeah, if you're a smaller market team, you go for your championship window.
Yeah.
And then
you have guys like Austin Bryce getting outs in the 4th inning as the third pitcher in the game.
First of all, your big market for about a year, and then you decide, not really anymore.
No, now we're not big market, actually.
It was like a 2003 Marlins move.
Yeah.
They just
weird.
won, and then they kind of cleaned house.
And, something about the Dodgers, a lot of their players haven't exactly gotten it going yet. Like Cody Bellinger, he only has a .719 OPS. Like, he's a below-average power hitter this year.
Yeah.
Max Muncy, he's been, hitting for power, but he's kind of become a Joey Gallo in a sense, where he only has a .205 average with a .775 OPS. Like, I know how we talk about how we're sort of doing away with batting average, but I know Max Muncy can do better than .205.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And if he can get up to even just .230, that's cool, because he's got a .351 on base percentage. That's above average in itself. So he is getting his walks. It's just the quality of contact coming off the ball. And I want to look at the pitching staff, because even if they're losing guys, it's a cycle of, they had guys that were relieving last year who probably would start on 95% of other teams, like Julio Urias. You have him coming up and producing well. Walker Buehler has recovered from a bad start of the season. Dustin May has come up. It's a younger pitching staff than I guess we're used to with the Dodgers.
It almost seems like this is a new age, even though it's kind of not. Like the rotation, obviously you have your Clayton Kershaws, but Dustin May has put himself in there. Julio Urias seems like he's finally becoming a staple in that rotation. And also Tony Gonsolin, nobody is talking about him. 23 2/3 innings pitched, a an 0.76 ERA with a 2.38 FIP.
Yeah.
Nobody is talking about that. And
Yeah.
I mean, Walker Buehler, I've talked about his struggles early on, but he seemed to be getting it going again before he had the blister problem. Clayton Kershaw has a 1.98 ERA with a 3.28 FIP. His strikeout numbers are down to 9.7 per 9, which is still only just barely above one strikeout an inning. I mean, where's prime Kershaw at? Come on. The bullpen is still led by Kenley Jansen, unsurprisingly. He is currently, let me see, 10 for 11 in save situations. But there's been a couple guys in the Dodgers bullpen that are not getting looks at all, and it's Caleb Ferguson and Jake McGee. Both of these guys, they have ERAs in the low threes, but their strikeout numbers are through the roof. Caleb Ferguson has pitched 17 and a third innings so far this year, and he has 25 strikeouts. That would be 13 strikeouts per 9. His strikeouts per 9 last year was 10.9, so it's obviously gone up. And Jake McGee, this guy has kind of been, going around. He was in the Rockies Super Bowl pen from a few years ago, if you remember that one, Chris. That worked out extremely well. He's in his age 33 season, coming in from Colorado, and he has nearly doubled his strikeouts per 9. It was 7.6 last year, and it's 14.4 this year in 15 innings pitched and only 5 earned runs.
Yeah, Caleb Ferguson, by the way, 100th percentile in xWOBA against and expected ERA against. I mean, it's unreal. It kind of came out of nowhere, too, but he's a young guy, 24 years old.
Also, Adam Kolarek, an 0.64 ERA in 14 innings pitched. Victor Gonzalez, a 1.38 ERA in 13 innings pitched. This team has way better pitching than a lot of people realize, mostly because a lot of those guys aren't getting the looks, or at least they don't have the experience yet. Because when you look at the Dodgers, you think of the experienced guys. You think of Clayton Kershaw. You think of Cody Bellinger, even though he's still very young. He's won an MVP. Justin Turner, he's been there since this championship run started that they still have yet to finish. Do you have anything else on the Dodgers?
I mean, yeah, it is good that you bring that up because, yeah, people think Dodgers, they think of, over the past decade pretty much, a tradition of regular season success for sure. And they probably think that the team might be getting older, but it's not really the case. You just have
This team is still going to compete in the long run.
Yeah, they're cycling through guys in a positive way.
And they still got guys that haven't even like Edwin Rios has been very good this year for them. Keibert Ruiz. Like, they still have guys in the minors that haven't even gotten a shot yet that are still – like, Gavin Lux, another one. Yeah. Like, he still hasn't even gotten that much of a shot yet. Like, this team's only getting better.
Yeah, it's quite unreal what they have going on in Los Angeles. It's what happens when you have a combination of great scouting, great farm system, and also unbelievable financial flexibility. And, that's what gets you 7 division titles in a row.
Yeah, you just haven't been able to finish. You can't really blame the front office either.
Yeah,
like at some point you got to look at the players on the field who haven't been getting it done. I can't speak.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sort of rooting for the Dodgers this
year. Yeah, if there's a year, like I will be. Listen, if they do it, I will be so happy for Clayton Kershaw. Like he deserves everything to just get wiped away because he is, without a doubt, a top 5 pitcher of all time. I will go that far.
If they win it, you want him to also succeed in
there. You don't want him to be like just along for the ride. Like you want him to have the 2018 David Price postseason.
Yeah, you don't want the Dodgers to win despite Clayton Kershaw
they don't want
a bad game.
You don't want them to have to overcome him.
Yeah.
But what they're going to have to overcome is Dave Roberts.
Yeah, that's true.
People forget. We haven't even mentioned Joe Kelly this entire time too. Like that dude throws 100.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know where it's going.
He doesn't really know where it's going.
But he does it.
Sometimes when he catches fire, just get him out at the right time.
Exactly.
We would know that.
So we should move on now.
Yeah.
We just talked about this team, but we should probably go in depth a little bit more with the Atlanta Braves because I mean, we've mentioned these guys just for what they did last night, but they've really been doing it, maybe not to that extent, but they've been doing it all season. Adam Duvall, he was so clutch for them last year in their limited time in the postseason. People forget about that. He has a 951 OPS this year in 41 games. He's been there the whole time. It's not like he's just catching fire these last couple of games. And to be fair, he does have a 1346 OPS over his last 12 games. I get that. Don't get me wrong. But this isn't like a fluke couple of games. He's been very solid for them all season. They have a lot of guys with an OPS in the 900s. Travis d'Arnaud, he has a 912 OPS. Freddie Freeman, he has a 1047 OPS. This is a 900, but Dansby Swanson has an 855. I mean, how long have we been talking about Dansby Swanson's potential? Since he was drafted?
Since he was drafted.
And then he was traded for Shelby Miller.
Yeah.
Do you remember that trade?
I remember it happened almost immediately after he was drafted.
It was the offseason after he was drafted. The Diamondbacks traded Dansby Swanson and Ender Inciarte to the Braves for Shelby Miller.
Yeah.
And he got optioned within like 2 months.
Yeah. And then of course Freddie Freeman. I didn't realize he had an OPS over 1,000. 1047 OPS for Freeman.
Yep. So
Acuna through 30 games, 1081 OPS. Ozuna, 1,004 OPS. Even with some injury problems, 836 team OPS.
I think the one big question is if the rotation can get it done, because we've said a lot. When did Max Fried go on the IL?
He went on the IL like a day or two ago.
Damn. This team, we've said that in the first round in a 3-game setting, like starting pitching is going to be everything. So that definitely would be a Braves weakness. But I do like their matchup right now if the season were to end today. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, when I was talking about Max Fried for a How About That, I mentioned his ERA versus the rest of the Braves starter ERA, and it was alarming for sure. And that's definitely a question mark. Soroka's not coming back as we've stated. Mike Foltynewicz probably not going to be there in the playoffs. He's got deeper problems with his arm and his velocity. Cole Hamels could be there, but it's probably going to be, hopefully for the Braves, Fried is able to come back, but it'll probably be Fried, Anderson, Hamels for that first series and go with that throughout. Maybe a bullpen game once you get deeper into the playoffs for your game 4s, but it might be an issue.
May I talk about Ian Anderson?
Yes.
He has given up. So he has pitched how many innings so far this year? 15. 15 innings pitched. He has allowed 3 extra base hits all year. And also, average against of 164, WOBA against of 248, launch angle against 2. 2 degrees. Exit velocity of 87.3. His StatCast numbers are really good. His peripherals are really good. And, this is not necessarily the norm for when someone comes up and starts their career. Normally you have some growing pains. I mean, you see Kyle Wright, right above him on the baseball reference page with an 8.05 ERA. Ian Anderson has a 2.40. He has a FIP of 3.44, which is not bad at all. He has really been coming up and getting it done for Atlanta.
Yeah, and it's huge for the Braves because they need it absolutely, and you don't necessarily want to rely on a guy who's coming up, but it seems to be a smooth transition, so he might be able to make an impact in the postseason.
A couple other guys I wanted to mention. AJ Minter. You might remember him from the viral video of when he was – do you remember the video from when he was at Texas A&M? And some people called the Texas A&M bullpen from their house, like some complete randos, and got him warm.
No, I didn't.
Hold on. Look up that video. Go to YouTube and look up. I'll just do it. That was such a great video when that came out. And I remember the first time I saw him pitching for the Braves, I was like, is that the same guy that was at A&M? And I checked his baseball reference page, and he did, in fact, go to Texas A&M. So he's, hey, ever since they got him warm, he's been doing really well. An 0.59 ERA this year in 15 1/3 innings pitched with 16 strikeouts. ERA plus of 8.42. That's all right.
Yeah. hard hit percentage in the 96th percentile,
Yep.
so you know this is probably long-term success. Maybe not an ERA below 1, but definitely one of the top relievers on the Braves.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's all that I wanted to talk about. Oh, Shane Green, 0.9 ERA as well.
Oh, that's good to see.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that.
I was going to say, you were always very skeptical of him.
Yes.
20 innings pitched.
Yeah.
7.2 strikeouts per 9. All right. The next team we have is the Chicago Cubs. That were my sleeper team.
Yeah, the Chicago Cubs have been kind of doing it all year. They started out really hot, and I think they've been kind of treading water ever since then.
Their run differential is I just noticed right now, their run differential is very questionable.
Yeah.
In comparison to the rest of the league.
They started 10-3, and I think they've gone 500 since.
Yeah,
then.
their run differential is +13. The Cardinals have played way less games, and it's +30.
Yeah. So, and the Cubs, and usually that's a sign of maybe a good bullpen, but the Cubs don't really have a great bullpen. So,
I still think they could absolutely win this division.
they should. They should be able to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yu Darvish, who has been absolutely killing it for them. He pitched last night, got a loss, but he still has a 1.77 ERA with 11.6 strikeouts per 9, as well as 1.8 walks per 9. You know, what I highlighted with Yu Darvish when I talked about him in the preseason show was how in the second half he was really good with run prevention, strikeout numbers, as well as walk prevention, and he's been doing that exact same thing this year. Kyle Hendricks is still doing pretty well, 3.41 ERA. He's been Greg Maddoxing it up this year, 6.8 strikeouts per 9.
And was that less than a walk per 9?
Yep.
Yep. 0.9.
Yep.
0.9 walks per 9 for Kyle Hendricks. Love him.
Ian Happ, who's your guy to watch, has been far and away the best offensive player on this team. 1022 OPS, that would be a 170 OPS plus. Jason Hayward, he's hitting the ball. Would you look at that?
947.
Would you look at that?
Yeah,
Say it ain't so.
He had a surge like this last year, but in a shorter season, it looks like it's going to be a very good season for him.
Javi Baez, I highlighted about a month or so ago now on Slightly Alarming. It doesn't look like he's gotten too much better. 609 OPS. I guess he is hitting a little more extra base hits because his slugging percentage is far from his batting average, but it's still 202 and 360 gate, so not good. Jason Kipnis, how about him? 856 OPS, very respectable for his time in the league.
It's a pretty deep lineup. Is Chris Bryant back for them yet?
Yes. Yeah, he's back currently.
Yeah, but he hasn't been great. He's on the bottom.
He is. Yeah, no, 55 OPS plus, not outstanding. No one outside of the starting lineup has been very good.
Yeah, the Cubs have been good. There's still some question marks about them, but I think that's a lot of teams.
Jeremy Jeffress.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Strikeout numbers could be better, but a 106 ERA, 12 strikeouts in 17 innings pitched, 2 earned runs.
That's a good surprise.
It's a surprise because Craig Kimbrell has not been doing what I hoped he would. He has a 7.36 ERA with 9.8 walks per 9. Oh my God. 9.8 walks per 9. That's a pretty good strikeouts per 9. But you don't want it for. To his credit, he does have 17.2 strikeouts per 9 as well. So yeah, he's like a 2 true outcomes pitcher.
Yeah.
Like no one's ever gonna hit him, but he's either gonna walk the entire world or strike everyone out. It's usually a mix of both, which isn't good at all.
Yeah, he's like the kid from Little League.
Yep.
Can't control
like me.
baseball.
Me when I played Little League.
Yeah.
Except I didn't have strikeout numbers.
Yeah, it looked like everyone was afraid to face the Craig Kimbrell type who just would walk people and strike people out.
It'd be so boring. It's like just stand there, watch 4 balls, go to the backstop, then go to first, go station to station through walks all around the bases.
Yeah, one thing I'm finding with Jeremy Jeffress, and not to say he won't sustain success, but his ERA is 106. His expected ERA, according to StatCast, 4.33. So
yeah, the Cubs, there is
we'll see.
cause for if they end up winning the division, I think that's the most likely upset in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, especially if they're a 3 seed and
Yes.
they're facing a second place team like
Right now, they would be
Phillies.
okay. Ooh, that's a matchup. We'll get into that later. But the fourth seed in the NL right now. Do you have anything else on the Cubs?
Not really, just kind of a
Okay.
they're treading water right now, but there's some question marks, but still a pretty good team.
We have America's team, everyone's favorite, Slam Diego, the Padres, the Friars. This team, they are 28-17, coming off a last place season last year. They have Fernando Tatis Jr., who has been, he needs no introduction. Manny Machado has gotten a lot better. Will Myers as well. Eric Hosmer. This entire team is like guys who have gotten better.
Yeah.
Like Hosmer, Machado, and Myers all had relatively disappointing seasons last year with higher expectations, and all three of them are crushing it this year. Eric Hosmer is on the disabled list, unfortunately.
I think you said it first. So far this year, they've been the best infield in baseball.
Yeah.
Everyone at their specific position has been top 5 at their specific position in baseball. Hosmer's probably been a top 5 first baseman. Cronenworth, top 5 second baseman. Tatis Jr., top 5
top one shortstop.
top 1 player right now in the National
Yeah.
League in terms of MVP. And Manny Machado has been a top 5 third baseman this year. He's been unbelievable.
Yes, those guys have all been crushing it. Trent Grisham as well. He came over in the Zach Davies, Luis Arias trade. He has an 828 OPS. He had a really, really hot start. He's kind of cooled down a little, but by all means, he's still doing very well. Austin Hedges.
Grisham's also
I just realized he's still listed as a starting catcher, even though they have Austin Nola with a 979 OPS.
Grisham is also a defensive maestro. He's known more for his defense. So
Yeah.
if you're getting offensive contributions out of him, that's a complete player.
And Austin Nola, he's done his thing ever since he got there. Like a 280 average with a 600 slugging, a 979 OPS in 7 games with Slam Diego.
Yeah, he's been there for them. And now the pitching staff, yeah.
Question marks. There are question marks.
Yeah. So
But you do have Clev.
yeah, you have the recently acquired Mike Clevenger. You came in. I had them. I had them in 4th place.
I had them in
Third place.
Yeah.
And that was because I thought they need starting pitching, and I thought I highlighted Zach Davies, but I didn't think he was going to solve all the problems. But Zach Davies has been very good. Good ERA and FIP, 2.4 ERA, 3.6 FIP. So it's not all necessarily there. The Statcast data on him isn't the greatest, but
Yeah.
it's
But
a short season.
he's still figuring it out.
Dinelson Lamet, though, you don't really have to look at his Statcast numbers because he's striking everybody out.
He is a 195 ERA plus.
Yeah,
He is so good this year. He's
and
like,
2.9.
why isn't he in the Cy Young conversation? He should be.
Yeah, I don't know. He's probably like second tier in the conversation.
68 strikeouts and 52 in the 3rd innings pitched with only 2.6 walks per 9 and 5.7 hits per 9. There is not a single thing this dude isn't elite at right now.
Yeah, because you got.
Oh, because he's 2-1. That's why
Yeah,
he's 2-1. Zach Davies is 7-2. And Nelson Lamet is 2-1. How does that happen? Come on.
Yeah, it's like when John Lackey was 10-13 in 2013. He had a bad record, even though he was pretty good.
It's Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, it's not even like it's happening on a bad team this year.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Odd that happened.
Drew Pomeranz out of the bullpen. He was also in the same trade with Zach Davies. I think it's safe to say. Urias has done pretty well for the Brewers. We'll get into them later, but right now it's safe to say the Padres won that. Actually, no, that was not even in the trade. Never mind. They signed him, didn't they?
Yeah, they signed him for
Never mind.
a 4-year deal.
Yeah. He went out and got his money. 0.00 ERA. 0 ERA with a 1.54 FIP. 12.2 strikeouts per 9. I have no idea where that came from. That did not exist when he was in Boston at all. except for a couple months in 2017, but not even the strikeout numbers were there.
Well, you know how good Boston is at developing their pitchers.
Well, they didn't develop Pomeranz.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
you maintaining and everything to do with pitchers outside of trading for them and signing them.
Yep. Trevor Rosenthal they got from the Royals. He's been elite this entire year. Matt Strahm, a 3 ERA, but a 5.01 FIP. Outside of that, I mean, Chris Paddock has struggled. I think we need to see more from him. And I can't really think of anything else for this team. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, the Padres, they've probably been, honestly, the most talked about because they've probably been the biggest surprise thus far.
Yeah.
In terms of their success because they have the second best record.
And they're so
in the
marketable
National League.
because of Tatis.
Yeah, Tatis and Crew is probably how the Padres should be referenced, and
Yeah.
they're going to be exciting in the postseason. If you're the heads of Major League Baseball, you're hoping the Padres kind of make a deep playoff push.
So the number 5 seed, the team that would play the San Diego Padres, should the season end today. I bet you didn't expect this team to be as much in the picture as they are. Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, I did.
You did.
I did. I had
But did you see him 5 seed? Did you have him in the playoffs?
Exactly 5 seed.
You had him in the playoffs. Okay, well then, Chris, forward this to Chris. I'll let you take this one then.
So you got the Philadelphia Phillies, although I think the biggest contributor has been the guy that you highlighted. So it's a team effort here.
It is.
On the show to be named later. JT Real Muto is doing everything that you think he should be doing.
In a contract year.
128 OPS plus while being an awesome defensive catcher as well. Rhys Hoskins has recently, mind the pun, recently really turned it up.
I'm going to get his game logs.
Yeah, he has a 949 OPS right now, but he's on a hot streak. I'm wondering what it was beforehand.
He had 6 home runs in 9 games in a 9-game span recently.
Yeah, so a nice surge for Rhys Hoskins. Looking at trends here. So in his last 21 games, he's hitting 291 with an 1107 OPS. And 21 games, it's not that small of a sample. I mean, it's 1/3 of the season this year. And yeah, I mean, back to the team page.
Hold on real quick. Before his last 21 games, his average and OPS were 208 and 691. It is now 258 and 940.
Yeah, it's been a crazy transition for.
He's nearly
Hoskins.
doubled his slugging percentage.
Yeah, so
It went from 283 to 530.
yeah, and the average too is something to look at because it's not like things were just warning track. It's just he wasn't really putting anything together. It wasn't just a power surge; it's an offensive surge totally. Didi Gregorius has kind of been a pleasant surprise. 803 OPS in 39 games. He's been there the whole year, consistent. Andrew McCutchen, he started out of the gate struggling, but I think he's improved as of late, almost to 700 OPS now. Bryce Harper, I was actually looking at Bryce Harper on Savant, and he's kind of run into some bad luck recently.
Yes.
He's had some like diving plays against him and some weird stuff. So, I mean, he was one of the better offensive players in the National League, but he's kind of cooled off since then. And then to the pitching staff, Zach Wheeler.
Hold on, wait, before you get into Zach Wheeler. Phil Gosselin has been such a mystery this year. Like, he has defied everything into a 910 OPS, which makes 0 sense.
Yeah, well, I'm not familiar with the Gosselin story.
He just was never that kind of. I mean, coming into this season, he started playing in 2013, and he had a 667 career OPS, and he has a 910 this year.
Yeah.
Like what?
So I guess putting him in the right situation made some improvements.
Also, he never really. I mean, not that this is a full season, but he never played more than 122 games in any season.
Yeah, and that was just one season. And outside of that season, he hadn't played more than 50 games.
Yeah.
In a season. And then you got the pitching staff. Zach Wheeler has been leading the charge, probably, I guess, Cy Young conversation, or at least second tier, with like Dinelson Lamet.
I think his strikeout numbers prevent him from being there.
Yeah, it's weird, but the The
walks, yeah.
The walks help because his fielding independent pitching is still very good. It's a 3.10, 3.10 FIP, 2.47 ERA. Everything's looking good there. I think the StatCast numbers are looking good there. Aaron Nola is looking more like his 2018 Cy Young runner-up.
He finished third.
Yeah, he was third in the Cy Young vote. 2.74 ERA this year, 3.36 FIP, 12.2 strikeouts per nine. Very, very pretty elite there. And then, as expected, with the
rotation drops off after that.
It's Wheeler, Nola, and then question marks.
If they can take the first two games of a series with a Wheeler and Nola, they got a chance. Anything outside of that is, you don't want Zach Eflin, Jake Arrieta, and Spencer Howard has potential, but he's not ready yet, as it shows.
Yeah, the Phillies have not been able to really develop pitching to support Wheeler and Nola, and then their bullpen, I think statistically still might be the worst bullpen in baseball.
Yep.
Although they did acquire Brandon Workman, which helps them a little bit.
Keith Henry has not been good. He's allowed 5 home runs in 5 2/3 innings pitched.
Yeah, Henry has a 9.53 ERA
with a 14.47 FIP.
14.47.
A whip of 2.2. Oh no!
So it's like the Phillies. I don't know. I don't know if they're destined for playoff success. I figured they'd have a decent year. Joe Girardi was my preseason manager of the year pick for this year because I thought a good turnaround would help. But in the postseason, I'm not really confident in this team.
Not yet.
Unless their offense can score 7-8 runs a game.
So the next team we have, this team would play their division rivals, the Chicago Cubs, in the playoffs should the season end today, and that is the St. Louis COVID Cardinals.
Yes.
They
Cardinals catching COVID at the casino.
Oh, yeah. Nice alliteration there. This team is still a question mark because they still have to make up so many games because of doubleheaders. But I do think they can absolutely make the postseason. Brad Miller is the first person I want to talk about. He has been sort of the Phil Gosselin of this team, but the difference is he has prior success. Brad Miller, a 282 average with a 945 OPS this year, a 541 slugging. He has been probably, I guess not the best offensive contributor on this team, but he might be the second best one outside of Paul Goldschmidt, who is one of my how about that's a 961 OPS, 162 OPS plus, also a 330 average, and that does not include the home run he hit today.
Yeah. Paul Goldschmidt is kind of what they acquired him to be was the heartbeat of that offense, and that's absolutely what he's been so far.
Outside of that, there haven't been too many outstanding performers on the offense. Harrison Bader has taken a step forward with an 835 OPS, so that's encouraging to see for sure. Paul DeYoung with an 817 OPS. Outside of that, nothing really.
Matt Carpenter seems to be falling off,
which I kind of predicted.
Just career-wise.
I kind of predicted that.
He had a career his worst year of his career last year, and it's getting worse. So that's unfortunate to see. So then the pitching staff.
Adam Wainwright, he's still got it. In age 38 season, he has a 2.68 ERA. He's kind of the peripherals don't suggest he's doing that great, but he's sort of like the Dallas Keuchel of the AL. His strikeout numbers are down, but he's the base runners and the whip, the whip are both very good. He has a whip under 1. Dakota Hudson, the walks are still a problem. Not as much of a problem, only 2.6 walks per 9 this year, but I still want to see those get lowered a little bit. He's continued just being like a guy who defies the peripherals. He has a 3.19 ERA with a 4.5 FIP, which is very weird.
Dakota Hudson? Yeah. So, hey, I don't know. I guess it works for him.
I guess, yeah. And then Jack Flaherty, obviously a 2.95 ERA. He's been doing his thing, like he always does. Just under 9 strikeouts per 9, 6.3 walks per 9, hits per 9. But the bullpen, they have been very, very good. Giovanni Gallegos, Chris's guy, a 1.59 ERA in 11 innings pitched. Austin Gomber, an 0.64 ERA and 14 innings pitched, 11.9 Ks per nine. Or no, I'm sorry, 8.4 Ks per nine. Never mind. Genesis Cabrera. This is a guy that I've been looking at. The problem is the walks. Big walk problem, but he has very good strikeout numbers. 2.70 ERA with a near 5 FIP. John Gant and Tyler Webb as well. But yeah, that's been the Cardinals' bullpen. That's kind of been a untold strength of theirs this year, and that's kind of what's been leading them a lot of the time.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect the Cardinals, if you say to someone like Jordan Hicks isn't there and or Andrew Miller isn't going to be that much of a factor. I see he's only thrown 7 1/3 innings so far. Yeah. You'd expect the bullpen to kind of digress, but they've found some guys. I'm looking at the ages of these guys.
They're all fairly young.
Yeah, Cabrera's 23. He was ranked number 11 in the Cardinals system, which is very good for a reliever. Expected batting average 94th percentile for him. Expected WOBA was kind of weird, but Giovanni Gallegos, they got in the Luke Voigt trade. He's 28.
7 strikeout to walk ratio, pretty good.
Yeah, Gomber 26. So they found some young guys and creating a good bullpen because pitching is what's going to give them postseason success if they get that.
That's right. So the next team, no one really understands why this team is there, but they are. I don't know if it's going to continue or not. The San Francisco Giants. I'm glad Gabe Kapler is actually doing well because I really do think that he wasn't given not necessarily a fair shot in Philadelphia, but I don't think he just managed the right kind of team. Not that the Giants are much different, but I think he is a lot better of a manager than what most people would think of. This team has virtually nothing outside of Mike Yastrzemski, but they've still done very well this year. Yaz, of course, one of the few players with 2 wins above replacement so far this year, a 978 OPS, 95 total bases already, and 31 RBIs for that team. Give him credit. And then Brandon Belt was one of my how about that's 1051 OPS, a 184 OPS plus. And also, Austin Slater, only 68 plate appearances, but for what it's worth, 328 average with a 603 slugging and a 1030 OPS. So he's been doing very well. Wilmer Flores, too, an 858 OPS. What do you got for the Giants?
Yeah, it's just, that's kind of like this. I guess it's the surprise team, at least on the fringes of the playoff team. I did not have any faith in this team to do anything.
Why should you?
This year. And you just got just random guys who have been around the mill, like Wilmer Flores just producing his
30-year-old
Donovan Solano.
30-year-old Alex Dickerson has a 901 OPS. He had a 3 home run game last week.
Yeah, Brandon Belt, who has been there for
he was on the 2014 team.
Yeah, he's been in the Giants system for over 10 years.
Pitching staff.
Yeah.
There's nothing appealing here.
Yeah, not even Johnny Cueto is doing that
There's
good.
nothing. Kevin Gausman's strikeout percentage, very good. 12 strikeouts per 9, about a 4.05 ERA with a 3.52 FIP.
Oh, interesting.
That's been good. But outside of that, and I guess Trevor Cahill. Wait, Trevor Cahill is 10 strikeouts per 9? Huh? When did that become a thing? He was never a strikeout guy, was he? No, 6.8 career strikeouts per 9. He's got 10.6 this year.
I guess the Giants just can make you a strikeout guy.
Guess so.
Like Pomeranz.
Yeah, I guess so. The bullpen has been meh, not great. Sam Selman.
Yeah, who knew the Giants would kind of be an offensive team?
Yeah.
This year.
The one bullpen guy that sticks out to me right now is Sam Selman, and Tony Watson too. Wow, okay, never mind. They do have a good bullpen. Just the guys listed on front of Baseball Reference. Jarlin Garcia, 13 shutout innings this year. How about that? Tony Watson with an 0.64 ERA and 14 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts. And Sam Selman, 1.80 ERA, 2.84 FIP, 15 innings pitched, and 18 strikeouts. nothing to be concerned about at all right there. So I guess they have a sneaky good back end of the bullpen, and I just learned that right now.
Yeah, it looks like they've kind of abandoned the guys they planned on.
Yeah, they actually just DFA'd Hunter Pence, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the bullpen ERA rankings because they must be maybe in the middle there, which, you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
The San Francisco Giants are 19th in Major League Baseball in bullpen ERA, so respectable, I guess.
Yeah.
So now I guess we can go to the Marlins.
Yeah. Marlins, yeah. 9 runs last night.
Making history.
Yeah. Look at it. Look at that. Look at that right there. Wait. Without guessing, do you want to just guess who the number 1 producer by wins above replacement is on this team? Because I honestly have no idea.
Oh, I looked.
Oh, you looked?
Sanchez.
Oh, yeah, Sixto. He's been very good this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's come up, and his strikeout and walk numbers are both incredible. 12.5 strikeouts to walk ratio. That's not even heard of. He's made 4 starts, 25 innings pitched, 21 hits, 5 earned runs, only 2 walks, and 25 strikeouts. That is really good.
Yeah.
That is really good.
He's unbelievable. His stuff is definitely unbelievable. I'm trying to see the rookie rankings because he might be coming up on.
Yeah. He could sneak up on Cronenworth.
He could sneak up on Cronenworth. He might surpass Dustin May.
Mm-hmm. He very well could.
Cronenworth has done well, so he might keep
Yeah.
it. But yeah, Sixto Sanchez, at least for the future, definitely. I mean, he's a guy you want to watch for sure.
Absolutely.
He's got stuff. Pablo Lopez was my how about that.
But he's down
digressed
right now.
hard in the last 2 starts.
Well, also one guy, James Hoyt. He has a walk problem, but his strikeout numbers are insane. 10 and a third innings pitched, a 1.74 ERA, 5.2 walks per 9, but 13.1 Ks per 9 is really good. A 3.57 FIP, which even that is very respectable. Brad Boxberger as well. Didn't even realize he was still in the league, but he's got a 1.38 ERA and 13 innings pitched. That's pretty good. Starting rotation doesn't look too appealing. I guess Sandy Alcantara, which was my guy to watch. Not a very good FIP, but a good ERA. A respectable ERA, I guess. Trevor Rogers, 5 earned runs in 15 innings pitched, 3 ERA. 12.6 strikeouts per 9, though. That's good. But bad walks.
Yeah, the Marlins are just they're definitely not supposed to be there. They're supposed to be there even less than the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah. They're exactly 500.
I mean, is Miguel Rojas healthy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's healthy. He's got a 994 OPS.
Yeah.
Lewis Brinson, he's hitting 237.
Yep.
Pretty
Mendoza
good.
line.
Pretty good.
He might be above replacement this year. I don't want to say anything crazy, but
No way.
0.3.
Yeah, no. Going by year, his average is 106, 199, 173, 237.
Look at him.
He was the number 1 piece they got in the Yelich trade.
Yeah, he wishes he was Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
It's not even like he has a good isolated power.
No. Brian Anderson has a close to 800 OPS. It's pretty good. Aguilar has an 823. Matthew Joyce has a 785 OPS. Good for him. Outside of that, is there really anything too intriguing about the Marlins?
Not really. I mean, it's going to be weird if they actually end up in the postseason.
Yeah, there's going to be so many, wait, who is this guy? Oh, that's their number 2 starter. His name is Pablo Lopez.
Yeah.
And Chris highlighted him on the show. Yeah. And then he got rocked.
Well, it's good.
Speaking of rocked,
yes,
we got the Colorado Rockies as the next team. They started out hot, and Charlie Blackmon, we were talking about if he could hit 400. He will not. He is hitting 327 with an 870 OPS, which is pretty good. He's just fell down.
Yeah.
Kevin Pillar, I think, will be a very good acquisition for them. He came from the Red Sox, of course. I'm just looking at this lineup now. Daniel Murphy is very disappointing, 60 OPS plus. They only have 2 above average guys in their lineup here. It's Trevor Story and Charlie Blackmon, and Nolan Arenado hasn't even really gotten it going that much yet, an 803 OPS.
Trevor Story's sneaky fast over there with 13 stolen bases.
Yeah. He's kind of a 5-tool player.
Yeah, I mean, when the top 10 shortstop thing happened last year on MLB Network, I think the Shredder had Story at number 1, and we were like, whoa, what is this?
And we looked at him and we were like, actually, yeah.
There might be a case here that, well, maybe not this year, but definitely top 3 shortstop in baseball right now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think he's number 1.
Yeah,
I think he's number 1. The starting pitching staff has fallen apart, kind of. Kyle Freeland and Herman Marquez and John Gray. I mean, John Gray fell down hard. He has a 6.69 ERA right now. Herman Marquez had a couple bad outings, but he has a better FIP than an ERA. Freeland is the opposite way. Their ERAs and FIPs are kind of like flipped around almost, those two.
Yeah. Freeland has probably been the most consistent guy in that rotation.
Yeah. Or even, And Antonio Senzatella has been very good. 3.69 ERA, but not a good FIP once again. But, yeah, I mean, the pitching staff is always going to be a question by default with the Rockies because they're the Rockies. Daniel Bard, though, the ultimate comeback story. He's been very good, a 3.5 ERA, 11.5 strikeouts per 9, 4.6 strikeout to walk ratio. Also, Yency Almonte, he's been very good, especially with walk prevention. Less than a walk per 9 in 21 and 2/3 innings pitched, 2.91 ERA. So he's been interesting to watch. That's about. My guy Jeff Hoffman has a 9 ERA with a 3.43 FIP. So he's just been getting unlucky out there. Of course.
Kyle Freeland, another guy who has kind of laid off his four-seamer. Last year, he threw his four-seamer 41.5% of the time. Now he only throws it 22.8% of the time, and it has resulted in a jump in ground balls. His ground ball percentage has gone from 47.3% last year to 55.6% this year. So
wow,
there's a little thing on like Kyle Freeland. He's become more of a ground ball pitcher this year. It's worked out for him. So, so even in Coors, it's definitely beneficial in Coors to be a ground ball pitcher. So, I guess that's something to look out for.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely the one you can rely on the most in that rotation right now.
So they are outside looking into the postseason spot right now. The next team we got to go over is the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
They are 3rd in the NL Central, and the best player on this team, believe it or not, has been Corbin Burns.
Yes.
Over his last 3 starts, he has been destructive to any offense in his way. He was, I think, like 1.5 wins above replacement over his last few starts.
Right now he's tied for 4th in pitcher F WAR and tied for 11th in pitcher B WAR.
A 1.99 ERA on the year.
2.03 FIP.
12.7 strikeouts per 9.
Yeah.
He's another guy that should be in the Cy Young conversation.
The only issue is he relieved three games, and he only has 45 innings right now. So he's 10 innings behind the normal pace.
Yeah. Brandon Woodruff has been pretty good. 3.91 ERA with a 3.59 FIP. 10.8 strikeouts per 9.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing notable from the starting rotation. Josh Hader is still doing that thing where he's Josh Hader. Also, Freddie Peralta, this is a guy I want to talk about. He has some of the most absurd peripherals in the league. If you're looking at this right now, a 4.35 ERA with a 2.02 FIP. His ERA is by far his FIP is half his ERA. 16.5 strikeouts per 9 is absurd. He has 38 strikeouts in 20 and 2/3 innings pitched, which is kind of ridiculous. David Phelps as well. They got him from Philly, and he has a 2.27. Or no, I'm sorry, they traded him to Philly. Never mind. But when he was with the Brewers, he had a 2.77 ERA with 13.8 strikeouts per 9. You want to give some numbers on Freddie Peralta for StatCast?
Yeah, Freddie Peralta, like the 4.35 ERA, you can rely on Freddie Peralta because his expected WOBA against is 89th percentile, expected ERA is 90th percentile, expected batting average 97th percentile. We'll see his actual ERA versus expected ERA. Yeah, actual ERA is 4.35, expected ERA is 2.77. It's almost 2 full runs of difference.
Okay, I'm going to do an impromptu how about that real quick. Devin Williams, one of their relievers, has been nails for them. 17 innings pitched, 1 earned run. That is a 0.53 ERA. Here, that is also an ERA plus of 889. And he has 35 strikeouts in 17 innings pitched with only 6 walks.
How about that?
He is only 25 years old. I believe he's a rookie. He has a whip of 0.5. He's giving up half a base runner per inning. 2.1 hits per 9 is also ridiculous. 3.2 walks per 9, which isn't bad at all, and 18.5 strikeouts per 9. Devin Williams has been one of the best relievers in the whole league this year.
Yeah, he might be on his way to a reliever of the year
Yeah.
title, although they kind of do that for closers, as we saw last year. But yeah, but I guess the two closers that there were 2 closers that got snubbed last year, so that wasn't even the issue. But anyway, yeah, Brewers, interesting, and their offense is interesting. Keston Hiura is doing good this year, correct?
Keston Hiura, no. Well, kind of.
783 OPS.
He's doing all right. He could be doing better, though.
Thought he was
Yelich
doing
has
better.
gotten it going a little bit. He still has to get the average up, but he has an 808 OPS. Outside of that, I mean, Jed Jerko's been very good for them. I will say that. 1051 OPS, tied for Barry Bonds' career with a 293 average. Yeah, and that is about it. Luis Arias has been pretty good. He kind of hit a wall, though. He has a 286 average, though. I'll give him credit for that. It's very good. I just want to see more extra base hits out of him.
Yep, exactly.
So we have 2 more teams that I want to
teams
go
look
over.
at.
One of them is the New York Metropolitans. I mean, this team, they just don't get it. You don't get what I'm saying there? It's the Brody Van Wagenen video.
Oh,
The video that leaked.
They just
He just doesn't get it. Rob wanted to do this. He just doesn't get it. And he was talking about his own boss. Such a Mets move. Anyway, the New York Mets, Robinson Cano has had probably the best comeback tour of the year so far. In his age 37 season, a 316 average with a 902 OPS, 7 home runs, only 19 RBIs, and only 13 strikeouts, which is even more amazing. He does have a really good strikeout rate, which I did not expect from him. You also have Michael Conforto, who I just highlighted on How About That with a 990 OPS. Pete Alonso has not been gotten it going. I mean, he's still been very good at 813 OPS, but from a guy who had 53 home runs last year, you'd hope for more. Both of our guys to watch, JD Davis, 784 OPS plus, which has been pretty good, but I'd like to see more. 784 OPS, that's what I meant. Jeff McNeil has gotten it going recently, though.
yeah.
And also Dom Smith, who I put on How About That.
Yeah, Jeff McNeil hitting 315 with an 884 OPS.
I think he homered in 3 straight games, too. Jacob deGrom, unsurprisingly, is probably the Cy Young favorite right now. A 1.69 ERA with 13 and 1.1 strikeouts per 9, 2.1 walks per 9, only 5.1 hits per 9. No surprises there. Then that he's kind of carrying the entire starting rotation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what happens. No Stroman, no Syndergaard, and he's just kind of out on an island, and that's probably why they're 4 games below 500 now.
Yeah. Edwin Diaz makes no sense because he is less than half of his save opportunities been converted into saves, but he's still the numbers show that he should be a good pitcher. A 1.89 ERA with 18.5 strikeouts per 9, and a FIP of 2.34. It's just so puzzling that every time he gets into a game, he blows it.
Yeah, you probably have to look into that because
It's so strange.
Every game he blows must be a 1-run game. And I don't know, maybe he has hold opportunities, like he's coming in the seventh or
It
something.
makes no sense.
I don't know.
Yeah. Outside of that, Seth Lugo has looked very good, like he did last year. And so is Chasen Shreve. Good for him. 20 innings pitched, 2.25 ERA. Brad Brock, 1.5 ERA and 12 innings pitched. Do you have anything else from the Mets?
I mean, they've had some good comebacks, but the offense is pretty good. Can you scroll down to see like the team OPS and OPS plus?
Yes.
Yeah, 123 team OPS plus.
That's really good.
Like with the Mets, especially,
In City Field.
They're not a historically great offensive team. You know them for their pitching. That's what got them to the World Series in 2015. DeGrom, Syndergaard, Harvey, and Matz.
Yeah.
And they've been that way pretty much since then. And then you have, the thing with the Mets was, if they can get their offense clicking, they could be, the best team in the National League.
For sure.
Their offense is clicking now, but now the pitching has kind of left them.
Yeah. So now we have one last team. Chris, this was your NL Central champions, so I will let you take it away.
No, I had them in the fourth seed behind.
Oh, that's right. But you had them
I had them doing very well.
So I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Reds. There's multiple issues. It's a multi-layered thing. First of all, the offense. The offense has been
not the greatest.
Something that I was a little alarmed about. When they signed Castellanos and Moustakas, I think a lot of people thought the offense would do a lot better than they thought it was. So, in the preview, I reminded people, Votto's not really the same. You do have Suarez still, but, Scooter Gennett is not there anymore, and he kind of faded off into the distance. There are just a lot of disappointment, from the catcher position, Tucker Barnhart, you have him in for defense, but he has a 613 OPS. Kurt Casale, 926 OPS. So,
yeah.
Interesting there. Joey Votto, 731 OPS for him. His OPS plus is 90. Mike Moustakas, actually at the free agent signing, 752 OPS. Eugenio Suarez, he struggled out of the gate pretty bad. His OPS plus is also under 100. That's a guy you expected to do very well this year. He had a 930-something OPS last year. And, Castellanos has kind of slowed down as of late. His OPS is 860 now. I think it was, in the thousands or 1100s a couple weeks ago. Jesse Winker had one of the hottest runs we've seen as of late. And then, their starting pitching is one of the best rotations in the National League. I mean, Bauer is right in that Cy Young conversation with Darvish and DeGrom. Castillo has been pretty good. He's had some bad luck to go with that, so you probably expect some more success with him. Sonny Gray taking a bit of a step back, but still a 3.19 ERA for the year. Tyler Mahle has kind of been a good surprise, ERA under 4 for him. Desclafani. Yeah, Desco has not been great this year. Wade Miley's been injured, but Bauer, Castillo, Gray, and Mahle have been very good, and
that would be a great playoff rotation if they can get there.
Yeah, it would be something to look for. But their bullpen was bad out of the gate. Michael Lorenzen was giving up a lot of home runs to start the year. I think it's gotten better since then, but a shaky bullpen along with a terribly underperforming offense is, it's going to give you some losses there.
This team has so many. So Bryce Iglesias is 6 for 8 in save opportunities. That's 2 blown saves. Michael Lorenzen has 2 blown saves. He's 0 for 2. Lucas Sims, who I will talk about in a second, is 0 for 2. And Amir Garrett is 0 for 1. So this team has had so many different people trying, for closer, and none of them have been able to do it.
Well, I think it's because they're coming in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
But still, it's a lot of blown saves.
But it's a group effort for how tough this
And
is.
when your offense isn't performing, there's going to be a lot of guys coming into 2-1, 3-2 games, very tight games. It's not like the Reds are putting up 5-6 runs a game. So you want that bullpen to be tight, and unfortunately, that has not been the case.
It has been for Lucas Sims and Amir Garrett, though. They've both been very good. Garrett is sub-2 ERA. Lucas Sims is just above 2. They both have at least 12 strikeouts per 9. Sims could get his walk numbers down, but still very good. And also Archie Bradley has pitched 2 2/3 shutout innings. I predicted a lot of big things for him. So that is it for our NL postseason picture recap, or I guess that's what you call it. So now we are going to get into the next edition. Chris, can you get the video up? You can take this away.
Our Friday, September 11th edition of.
How about that?
So, I guess I should start. Or actually, I'll have to get my notes up. You go ahead and start.
All right. So I have one of each for this week. My how about that comes from a team that hasn't been doing so well, but this guy isn't the reason for any of it. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa of the Texas Rangers. He went 4 for 4 last night, and he currently holds a 12-game hitting streak, and he's gotten a hit in 16 of his last 17 games. And now over those 17 games, he is slashing .413, .433, .540 for a .973 OPS. That .413 average, that leads the American League.
How about that?
He also has 26 hits and 5 strikeouts, and his strikeout percentage has gone down nearly 10% this year. So that is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa of the Texas Rangers.
How about that?
What date did you have there?
It was over his last 12 games. I believe it was the 22nd of August.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So
Yeah.
my how about that has already been mentioned in this episode. Talking about Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
He's been unbelievable. So, and he's been great the whole year as well. There are 3 men this year to have 9 games with 3+ innings pitched, 3 earned runs or less, and 5+ strikeouts. Those 3 men are Shane Bieber, Lance Lynn, and Corbin Burns. So he's been in kind of an elite class this year. In his last 3 starts, he's pitched 19 innings, allowed 1 run. That run was unearned. He's allowed 7 hits in those 19 innings, 3 walks, and he's struck out 28. He's been absolutely unleashing on the National League. This year, he has a 1.99 ERA and a 2.03 FIP. His ERA ranks 5th in the National League, and his FIP and hits per 9 lead the National League. This is also coming into Thursday, by the way. And he is tied for 11th in B WAR and tied for 4th in F WAR. So there is Corbin Burns.
How about that?
So now we go from the highs to the lows, highlighting an underperformer of the past in recent times. We're going into slightly alarming statistics for the midweek episode.
All right, so my slightly alarming is Austin Meadows. He has been really struggling. Over his last 15 games, he is slashing 140, 231, 175, 406. His 195 WOBA and his 19 weighted runs created plus are both 3rd worst in all of baseball.
Slightly alarming.
And his negative .6 F WAR is the worst in the American League.
Slightly alarming.
The Rays, to their credit, they've gone. I believe it was 9-6 over these 15 games when Meadows was struggling. But we're going to need to see more from him if this team is going to make a deep playoff run.
Yeah. Austin Meadows, that's kind of the heartbeat of the Rays lineup.
Yep.
Especially, definitely last year. It's hard to see, but he should be able to come back. My slightly alarming is also another guy who was very good last year. Actually, an MVP finalist last year. I'm talking about Marcus Semien.
He just went down.
Oh, he just went down with an injury?
Yep.
So I guess maybe that could explain it. But last year, out of 135 qualifiers, his OPS ranked 33rd. So 33rd out of 135, very good. Of 154 qualifiers this year, his OPS ranks 143rd. It's very, very bad for Marcus Semien this year, but could be because of maybe a lingering injury. And his
he's back. Never mind. Okay, he had an MRI. He missed a week, but he's back now.
So his strikeout percentage has gone from 13.7% to 22.5%, almost a 10% change there in strikeout rate. His hard hit rate has gone from 38.1% to 30.4%. His expected batting average has gone from 275 to 208, and his expected weighted on base average has gone from 367 to 274, and his expected slugging has gone from 503 to 361. So it's not like he's running into much bad luck. He's just been plain old bad this year, and don't really know why.
Slightly alarming.
So there's slightly alarming statistics. And now I guess we will preview the weekend in baseball to come.
Yeah. So I'm looking at a particular West Coast matchup this weekend between two current playoff teams, division rivals, Giants versus Padres. These teams are playing each other this weekend. Looks like their series starts tonight. Trevor Cahill is on the bump for San Fran going against Chris Paddock. This is in San Diego, by the way. On Friday, you have Johnny Cueto versus Garrett Richards. Saturday, you got Kevin Gausman versus Dinelson Lamet. That'd be a good matchup. That's probably the best possible matchup you can have. And then on Sunday, you have Logan Webb versus Mike Clevenger.
Yeah, those are some. That's a good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few good matchups. Some honorable mentions. One honorable mention I will say is Indians Twins.
I think we've highlighted them every single time they've played each other.
So I can't be a broken record there. I'm looking at something. I guess two teams that are kind of fighting for eighth seeds. I guess I'm looking at Blue Jays Mets. Blue Jays just faced another New York team, but they
are a New York team.
Yeah, they are a New York team. They're facing the Mets. They're facing Jacob deGrom on Friday, so that's probably a win. And then on Saturday, they're facing, I guess, an opener in Seth Lugo, and the Blue Jays don't have a guy scheduled, but I guess they are known for their offense. So, you don't really expect much with the pitching with this team. And no one is scheduled on Sunday for either team, but I think it's a good matchup. I think the Mets, this is a team trying to survive, and the Blue Jays are kind of a more young and exciting team.
Yeah.
Maybe happy to be there.
All right, and that's going to do it for this show.
Yeah. Our first in-person show since March 10th.
I remember the last show we did, we were like, well, I guess we might be going home and staying there. And then we did.
Yeah, it didn't feel that serious though.
No.
Because
it was before everything started getting canceled.
Yeah.
Like, it was before March Madness got canceled. It was before the NBA locked out. It was before Major League Baseball suspended their season. It was before all that happened.
Yeah, it was like a 24-hour period where everything just got like
it just all happened at once.
Oh, we're just gonna have to like sit around for 2 months because of
at
this.
least. Yeah.
So yeah, that was unfortunate, but we hope you enjoyed this edition of the show to be named later. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and want to watch us talk, watch us get these stats. It was an interesting dynamic today. Go to our YouTube channel. It's called STBNL with Chris Gianta and Daniel Curran. If you want to follow me on Twitter, follow at Chris_Gianta. If you want to follow Daniel on Twitter or Instagram, follow him at Daniel_Curran. And if you want to follow the our show Instagram page, follow at STBNL Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our little midweek check-in, and we look forward to seeing you on
Monday.
where we will be recapping the weekend in baseball that we have just previewed. See you then.